Yeah, looking a bit different today, aren't we? Anyway, good evening. Actually, no, that's not really what I would say. I'm Australian. G'day, YouTube. Digger29 back with you again. How you going? Throw a shrimp on the Barbie, mate. That's not how we talk. Contrary to popular belief, that's not really how we've ever talked. I don't know about you guys, but that's not how I normally envision Australians talking. But anyway, guys, I am here, as always, as your spokesperson for the PPWC, the PokePals World Championship, which is basically this year taking the kind of UCL approach. We are going to do 3 Pokemon from each tier. Basic rules were simple. You can choose a Mega Evolution, which you don't have to per se Mega Evolve the Pokemon, but then again, when you see basically everybody that had Mega Evolutions, you would assume they're going to be Mega Evolved most of the time. We did have a few omissions this year. It was just because we found it was going to be too difficult having more than 10, but next season we're thinking that what we're going to try and create is a D-League, and that way we have it that there's always people going in and out of leagues, and everybody's getting a chance to actually do something, which is basically part of the PPWC, and I think that'd be really awesome if that was possible. But anyway, as you guys know, I am the head coach of the Tampa Bay Frogadiers. I'm not going to do my own little draft analysis. I'm going to kind of sum it up. Pardon me in here. I just ate some freaking chia meatballs and kale spaghetti or whatever. I don't know. It was healthy. I liked it. We move on. Anyway, so I'll be uploading my battles on here. Everybody else's battles will probably be uploaded on their channels, so I'll link as many of them as I can. A few people here that don't actually have their own channels, so they may upload their battles onto PokePals World. We will see, but it just depends if they feel like doing it. But there will always be weekly recaps coming up, so you can definitely look out for that. But basically what I wanted to do today was I kind of wanted to look at every team here and give my unbiased opinion. Like, everybody knows that I'm pretty big on my opinion. I'm always happy to throw out how I feel. Now, my opinion could be complete horse crap. I like to think that I know a fair bit about Pokemon and strategies and whatnot, but in truth, everybody has their own opinion, and everybody should respect their own opinion. So, you know, if you guys can respect what I'm going to say about each team, then that's groovy. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. So, I'll also kind of explain my team in a bit more depth, just because you kind of want to know, like, my side of things and what I think is. But at the end of the day, I want to summarize not only the team, I want to summarize the best pick, the worst pick, I'll call it the weak link of the team. I want to initially say the best offensive Pokemon, the best defensive Pokemon, and then probably the big one for me, which is the big wild card, the dark horse, I guess you'd call it. So let's crack it on with Will. Iammonkeyman. So he had the first pick of the entire draft, and embracing his inner PokeMMD, he decided to go with Manaphy. I don't know why some people say Manaphy, because that's not right. You don't say it that way. Anyway, so he chose Manaphy, and he also had Jirachi and Mega Heracross as his OU picks. I really like the balance that he had in OU. Then he really even kicked it up a further notch by drafting Mamoswine, Shaman, and Infernape in UU. RU was also very, very solid. Druddigon, Gastrodon, and Magneton. Oh, they all ended on. That's crazy. And then finalizing it, he had Muck, Murkrow, and Floatzel, which are probably the contentious picks. But then again, the way this tournament works, you could basically just have the team that you need out of the first 9 Pokemon you pick. So I think his first 9 is incredibly strong. Offensive threat has to be Mega Heracross. I know you could say, well, Infernape can be mixed attacking, as can Shaman and Jirachi and Manaphy, that's great, but Mega Heracross in this format is terrifying. There aren't a lot of counters for it, and I can see him utilizing it really well with this team. For example, he has great Volt Turn ability, so Pokemon that would normally maybe come in on Manaphy and wall it, such as your Ferrothorns, you could easily set up a sub with Heracross and then go for like Focus Punches and other stuff. But Heracross itself with a base 185 attack is a very tough Pokemon to deal with, so I think it's a really smart pick by Will, and I can see it getting a lot of kills. I don't see it getting the most kills for his team. I think the most kills will probably fall to either, I think, Mamoswine, Infernape, or honestly Manaphy, because there is also the possibility of Manaphy getting a lot of Tail Glow sweeps. If people aren't prepared for it, it can definitely be a serious problem. So I think that's definitely something that Will try and do this season. Best defensive Pokemon, I'm going to go with Druddigon. I think we've kind of seen in the last few seasons that Druddigon is a very good Pokemon in this format, especially for its ability to have the rough skin and rocky helmet like Garchomp, but be a bit of a discount being an RU, as well as also having Glare, which Garchomp doesn't get, and a Pure Dragon typing, which means that Ice types aren't as big of an issue, and you can resist stuff like Water. So that's pretty groovy. I think that's a good pick. When it comes to his best overall pick, I have to say Manaphy. It's pretty close to warranting first pick status, in my opinion. It's very, very good on the offense and the defense. I think it's going to be a very good Pokemon. His worst pick? I picked it before, but I think Floatzel is going to be an interesting one for him, and it's because he already has a Manaphy. And the question I ask myself is, what situation is it going to be where he's going to bring Floatzel over Gastrodon or Manaphy as a water type? Like, Manaphy almost has the exact same speed as Floatzel, has more attack, and, no, Floatzel has 105 attack, I'm pretty sure. But I think Manaphy serves a lot more purpose for his team. I think Floatzel was just kind of a throwaway pick, but I don't think it's going to put in that much work. The dark horse for his team, if I'm going to be completely honest, I'll make him happy. I think Muck is a bit of a dark horse because Muck has really good, solid typing. I think Pure Poison is a very underrated type, especially in this format. It only has 2 weaknesses, Ground and Psychic, and he handles those very well. Like, he has a fantastic Psychic check in Jirachi, and he has a pretty solid Ground check in Shaman, as well as Murkrow being able to completely nullify both of those things. So it does mean that Muck has a lot of chances to put in a possible amount of work. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's going to be his best pick for the entire season, because, let's face it, he has a freaking Manaphy and a Mega Heracross and a Jirachi. So, there's those Pokemon. But I think that Muck can be very good in its own sense. It can run Black Sludge, it can run Power Up Punch with random items and whatnot, and it can be a very threatening Pokemon. So, if people don't prepare for it, they're going to be in deep doo-doo. Anyway, moving on, we have Aiden of the Manitoba Manaphies. Yeah, I want to make sure I got that right. People don't have logos. I kept messaging him like, guys, send me the logos that you want, or tell me what logos you want and I'll make them. And they just never did, so I was like, well, screw you guys. I just didn't make them. I might make them for another league, we'll see. Anyway, Aiden got some pretty crazy picks. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, he got some pretty crazy picks. So kicking things off, he had Mew and Mega Metagross back-to-back. I don't know how we let him get that. I had my own game plan when it came to my draft, but I don't know why other people let him get to those. Then he picked up Togekiss because, it kind of handled everything else. Mandibuzz, Krook, so double dark there. Snorlax, which he likes it. Cofagrigus, Aselgor, and Hitmontop, pretty much standard RU. And then Garbodor, Electivire, and Stantler. So, breaking down, I think he has a very good balanced team. Mega Metagross and Mew is freaking just, it makes me want to crap myself, because it is a very, very, very strong offensive core, plus the combination of Mandibuzz, Cofagrigus, and Togekiss, as well as Hitmontop. He does have a fair few defensive options, as well as Stantler, because let's not dwell on the fact that Stantler does get the Intimidate, and can be a very threatening Pokemon. I'm going to say his best offensive pick has to be Mega Metagross. As much as Mew can be incredibly versatile, I would say Mew is more of his kind of MVP, kind of all-rounder. But Mega Metagross, for its ability to just absolutely tear apart teams, has to be his best pick by a country mile. Defensively speaking, I think that it's close, but I'm going to give it to Mandibuzz, because I feel that Mandibuzz is fantastic in this kind of format as well, because it can run a lot of different moves. Like, you have to remember that Mandibuzz itself has a move, has the ability Weak Armor, which can boost its speed, lower its defense, but then it can run like an offensive set because it has like a decent attack stat. So definitely some options for good old Mandy there. But defensively speaking, it is a fantastic Pokemon in this format. Very, very good. Not as easy as you would think to prepare for it. And remember, this is basically the Pokemon that was in one time the quintessential Aegis/counter. So I think it's a pretty darn good selection for him. I'm going to say that his overall pick, like I said, would be Mew. I think overall it's going to put in the most work for him, definitely. Be his MVP probably by the end of the year, if not Mega Metagross, definitely. His worst pick. Now, you're all going to be like, he's just going to say Stantler. And I'm not, because Stantler is going to be an interesting Pokemon in this format. We saw that Miguel a few seasons back, no, not a few seasons back, in the other season of the GBA, he ran defensive Stoutland with Intimidate. And I put in ridiculous work. It walled a Mamoswine and a Sharpedo. So I'm not denying the defensive ability of Stantler. The Pokemon that I'm probably going to say is a pick that I don't really see why it's there, if I'm going to be honest with you. It's close between Garbodor and Aselgor, and here's kind of why. Both of them essentially do the exact same thing. The difference is that Aselgor is faster at what he does and can have stuff like Final Gambit, whereas Garbodor is a little bit more bulky and has access to T-Spikes as well. and Explosion, which I find can be even more useful in Final Gamble, because obviously if you get yourself down to a Sash, Final Gamble is going to do nothing, whereas if you get down to a Sash with Garbodor, Explosion is going to do a ton still, because it factors in your base HP. So I think Garbodor is a good pick. I honestly think his worst pick is a Selgor. I mean, it's a great bug type, I guess, but I think that Garbodor can already set up the spikes that you needed to set up, as well as the T-spikes, which of course Cofagrigus can get too, so I guess there's a case in that, but Cofagrigus can spin block, as well as having other Pokemon that can kind of handle. Obviously you can't block Defog, but then again, like, there's not a whole lot of Defoggers that have come. A lot of people have tried to go down the Rapid Spin or just no hazard removal route, and for some people that's great, but I think that Aiden can really capitalize with Garbodor instead of a Selgor. It allows Cofagrigus to run a different move other than T-spikes. I think a Selgor, in general, it is a good Pokemon, but I think for his team, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's a bad Pokemon, that it was a bad pick. I'm just saying it's a bad pick for his team and the way that it was built. I think a much better pick, actually, and he'll hate me for saying this, I honestly think Durant would have been a better pick, and it's something that he has lacked for a while, but I genuinely think Durant would have been a better fit in that team, or a special attacker, maybe. Or I guess a Selgor works as a special attacker. I don't know, we'll see how he uses it. If he uses it. Anyway, we'll move on to Jack, who has been the champion for the last couple of years. He's a very, very formidable opponent, and I will say it. I will say it right up. He is a very, very tough opponent to deal with, because he always drafts phenomenally well, and then can battle even better. And I'm not trying to, sugarcoat or anything. He is a good battler, and there's not much. I think everybody in this tournament. That's the problem, mate. People go into battles and think, oh, this is going to be like an easy win. I go into a battle shitting myself, honestly, because I know that everybody in these tournaments has the ability to absolutely destroy me. So Jack is definitely a terrifying competitor. We're kind of we're not really even on the battle count. Out of these formats, we're pretty dead even. In these formats, he has got the better of me last few times, but I think my draft this season is a little bit better, so maybe I can give him a run for his money. Anyway, Jack picked up Double Bird to start off his draft, which nobody really expected. It was very surprising. He was initially thinking about Mega Gallade, but he decided to go Mega Gardevoir, which is terrifying in this format. He then picked up Milotic, Goodra, and Mienshao. The first two fantastic defensive options. The last one, his go-to when it comes to U-turning. He then went with a Trapper and Dugtrio, a Defiant user in Braviary, and a special attacking Fire-type in Typhlosion, finishing off with Ludicolo, Mesprit, and Piloswine. So, very, very strong draft by Jack. I'd have to say his best offensive mon has to be that Mega Gardevoir. Its ability to break through teams, running Taunt, Willow, as well as just running Hyper Voice and Psyshock. It can rip through a lot of teams and cause a lot of issues, and its big weakness to Steel isn't really an issue when you have a Pokemon like Skarmory, as well as a Pokemon like Zapdos on your team. So I don't think he's really too worried when it comes to that. Defensively, it's got to be Milotic. It is a fantastic defensive mon for this format, and I think it's going to actually pair really nicely with the Zapdos. I don't know why. I see them really gelling together as a core, but also it makes a fantastic core with Goodra itself, because of course the Grass-type moves might give Goodra the Sap Zipper boost, and the other electric moves that could hurt Milotic are just absolutely gobbled up by the goo. When it comes to his all-round mon, I'm gonna throw a curveball in. I'm really digging Goodra in this format. I really do. I genuinely think that Goodra is a fantastic Pokemon in this format for its ability to basically be able to eat up a lot of hits, as well as dish out some serious damage, and it is a fantastic mixed attacker. So I definitely think that's going to be his best all-round pick. When it comes to his worst pick, oh man. See, you're all thinking he's going to say Piloswine, right? See, I want to say Braviary, and the reason I want to say Braviary, and it's not an easy decision, it's between Braviary and Piloswine. The reason why I think Piloswine is good is because I think Ice types in this format are really good. Generally speaking, they're terrible, because a lot of people can bring in a ton of Ice Resist, but you're not exactly building a team to deal with a lot of Ice types, and you don't really realize that when you're building for these kind of tournaments. You're looking for great type synergy and stuff, but you don't really factor in those types. And I used Mamoswine in the past and found that Mamoswine is fantastic at breaking down walls, because again, that I prepare for it. So Piloswine could be a very good choice there. The reason why I think Braviary, although its Defiant ability is fantastic, it's that thing of the Jack's already got two birds. He has Skarm, he has Zapdos. They can be run offensively if he wants them to. And I get that maybe it's for Defiant reasons, or because, it has a good attack stat or some bulk. But he could have picked up a really solid normal type from he actually could have picked, I believe, Exploud before I did. and pick that up. There were a lot of other good normal types that you could have picked up in RU that he maybe could have had over Braviary. I just find that 3 flying types, like you would initially say like, oh, rocks, rocks, rocks everywhere. But you remember that he has a Zapdos with Defog, he has a Skarmory with Defog. He's not really exactly super worried about rocks. Although rocks do hurt his team, it's not like he doesn't have an easy way of dealing with them every time. And remember that most Stealth Rock setters are physical attackers, so he can pretty safely go into Skarmory, get rid of rocks, and then deal with whatever attack is in. So I think that the only reason I'm saying Braviary is just because it's a 3rd flying type. And I think he maybe could have just picked up a standard normal type, which could have been covered with its only weakness by the Zapdos anyway, whereas Braviary is weak to basically the same stuff that Zapdos is. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Jack? Like, I know you're going to say that I've made a bad call here, but honestly, I'm talking about the worst Pokemon on your team being a 3rd bird. That's how I have to do it, okay? So anyway, that's going to wrap that one up. I want to try and get through this as quickly as possible, but obviously I'm taking my time. But you know what, we're almost halfway there, so it's all good. Next up we have John of the Florida Gators. He had a really solid draft, I feel. He went with Starmie, Lando T, Weavile, Suicune, Mega Ampharos, Chandelure, Meloetta, Emboar, Escavalier, Vileplume, Miltank, and Mr. Mime. Now, when I first looked at John's team, I was a little bit surprised because he's really doubled up on a few typings. Like, he has Starmie and Suicune as water types. He has Starmie and Meloetta as psychic types. And, you know, Mr. Mime's down there too. As well as having things like Chandelure and Emboar on the team. So those kind of things surprised me. Like, it's not a bad thing. I'm not like having a go at you, John. It just surprised me. I think offensively speaking, his best offensive pick is going to be Weavile by a long stretch. Weavile is a fantastic Pokemon in this format. Like I said, guys, offensive ice types work. I don't know why. Normally, they don't really work that much. But then again, you think about a standard OU team. You got like your Latias, your Lando T, your Garchomp. A lot of things weak to those ice types. So Weavile is a fantastic Pokemon, I think. We've seen it get MVPs and most kills a lot of times in different tournaments, and I think it's definitely got what it takes to do it again. I think defensively speaking, it's got to be either Mega Ampharos or Suicune, although I will throw in a little cheeky one there and say Vileplume is a very good defensive Pokemon, so definitely wait and see on that one. But I think probably I'm going to say Suicune is his defensive mon, just because of its ability to be able to not only set up on people, but also phase them by having Roar, so it means that, you know, mons that can Swords Dance, such as your Mega Heracrosses, might not be able to kill Suicune, and Suicune can just roar them out as they go for the Bullet Seed, and whatnot. So, there's that. I think the overall best pick for him, though, when it comes to just the jobs that he can do for the team, is probably Lando T. Yeah, I feel like Lando T is probably his best pick there. Because you can run it like offensively, defensively, especially offensively, which you've seen probably before in our Tony Abbott session. But there's definitely some options there for Lando T, and I think that's why it's his most versatile pick. When it comes to his worst pick, so that's a tough one. Honestly, man, this really is a tough one. Because Starmie's fantastic, Lando T's good, Weavile's good, Suicune's good, Mega Ampha's good. I can't find a reason to say that Shandy and Emboar aren't good both as fire types and their respective fighting and ghost types. Meloetta's great. Escavalier is something I wanted, so I can't really, like, you know, have a go at him for picking it. He's a good Pokemon. Vileplume's good. I'm sorry, John. I'm gonna have to say Mr. Mime. I know it gets Technician, I know it gets all this cool stuff, but it is looking like the weak link. Just because, you know, he doesn't have a Fairy, so there is that. But he already has 2 fantastic Psychic types in Starmie and Meloetta. And why wouldn't you bring those most weeks over Mr. Mime? I can see him maybe bringing it a couple of times, but I think it's a bit of a throwaway, if I'm being honest. Then we come to me. Alright, so let me try and break this down for you. I really want a Victini first up because I've seen people use Victini before. The versatility is incredible. The speed is just the same as Mew, Jirachi, Manaphy, all those goons. So I found it was a really solid pick for my team. I paired it with Kira Black because, as I said, man, ice is everything. Offensive ice types are the best ice types. And Kira B is just a freaking juggernaut. 170 base attack and 120 base special attack. I was like, yep, sure, let me take it. show me the switch-in. That was my basic premise when I picked it up. Then I picked up Mega Load Putty because I was like, oh, who doesn't love Hyper Offense? I figured my best way to win my battles, if I really needed to, was just to steamroll my opponents with Hyper Offense, because a lot of people don't build super defensively, and Hyper Offense is the best offense, to be honest. So with those picks down, I really wanted to try and focus more on defensive stuff. So I picked up Umbreon and Gligar, but I also want to pick up Gator because I like the offensive presence Gator can have on a team. To round off my defensive Pokemon, I basically just decided to pick up a Moongus in RU, and then picked up Electros for some nice Voltone action, and then picked up Exploud, which I think is actually going to be my dark horse this season. Exploud is really strong, just saying. Anyway, we get to NU. I decided to go with Morwile because, I don't know, I wanted Gramble, and somebody else took Gramble, I think. I can't remember. No, I wanted a Steel type, that's right. I wanted a Scavalier, and it got sniped just before I could pick it. It was brutal. Absolutely brutal. But then I also got Dusclops as an extra defensive mon, and I finished off with Combuskin. Now, a lot of people will say Combuskin is your worst pick, but the thing is, Combuskin in this format can still use Baton Pass. In case you guys didn't know, you can still use Baton Pass with just the speed boost, so you can just pass speed raises. So Combuskin can be really handy because it can make Pokemon like Exploud, Kira, and Victini a bit faster than they normally would be, and that can open some doors. I can like Baton Pass out speed boost against, like I'm facing a water type like the Suicune. I go straight out to Lumberry Gator with SD, and I have the speed boost as well. And then, like, you know, it's just the ability then possibly to sweep is fantastic. There's a lot of options there. I'll say they're probably my best offensive pick. I'm gonna say Kira and Black, just because 170 base attack, like, come on, that's hitting everything. And it's got great move pool as well. Fantastic move pool, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Best defensive pick, I'm probably going to say Umbreon, just because generally Wish Passing and all that jazz is fantastic, and I think it definitely deals with a lot of the big, scary Pokemon that my opponents do carry. When it comes to an underrated Dark Horse, I'm probably going to say Exploud. Yeah, I'm going to stick with Exploud. I think it's going to surprise people the power that Exploud has, and he can just boom burst his way to victory if he need be. Worst pick, I'm going to say Morwile. I'm not going to say Combuskin. I'm going to say Morwile because I wanted a Scavalier and I couldn't get a Scavalier. If I got a Scavalier, instead of Morwile, I probably would have got Gramble. Or Ordino. I didn't get either of those, so, you know, it threw me off a course, and I just had to kind of find a filler, and it's not the best filler, but it'll do. It'll do, guys. So yeah, that's how I feel about my team. So we're halfway there now, at 23 minutes. Go team. Fantastic. Hopefully we have this done by about 45 minutes. That's the game plan. I know it takes a long time, but this is just the thing that it does. You know, most of you will probably just watch like 2 or 3 seconds of this, pause it to look at everyone's teams, and then comment saying which team you think is the best, and that's fine. You know, I honestly don't blame you. I really don't. Anyway, we're moving on. We got Connor of the San Diego Simmer Sages. He's rocking a pretty groovy team this season, if I'm going to say so myself. He has Raikou, Slowbro, Mega Venusaur, Donphan, Arcanine, Azelf, Golbat, Sneasel. Why is that Jellicant? It's supposed to be Jellicent. Oh, I hate people when they edit. Jellicent, Tauros, Dragonair, and Wishcash. So yeah, this was different. I really like the Raikou, Slowbro, Mega Venusaur, that's really cool. Adding Donphan in there as a spinner is fantastic. Arcanine defensively is great. Azelf is very unpredictable. Golbat as an extra defogger in case you don't want to use Donphan. It's really cool. I like that. Sneasel is a great offensive ice type. Again, like I'm saying, guys, offensive ice types are just the thing. I don't know why. Everyone loves them. Anyway, Jellicent is fantastic as well, just defensively speaking, and he needed a good ghost type. Tauros is really good, it can just mix up its moves. Dragonair, I don't know how I feel about Dragonair right now. It's very knockoff weak, and although it can, like, you know, I think Dragon Dance and have Shed Skin, so like status isn't affected, it is still very vulnerable without that Eviolite, so knockoff mons are going to have a field day against it. And Wishcash is kind of cool. Dragon Dance Wishcash is actually pretty darn strong, and if you're not prepared for it, you're going to lose. So there's that I definitely need to watch out for. Well, I need to watch out for it. Everybody needs to watch out for it, to be honest. But I think that best offensive pick, in my opinion, I'm going to say Azelf. Offensively speaking, Azelf is very unpredictable. I think it's going to be a very strong mon for him to use this season, especially. I think unpredictability is the best thing you can have in Pokemon. Take it from me from last season. I don't know if you saw the videos, probably on Jack's channel. I didn't upload it because I was butthurt. but Jack brought Calm Mind Baton Pass Mienshao. I had nothing for this thing. I had not prepared for a freaking special attacking Calm Mind Baton Pass Mienshao. Who would? Who predicts that? But in this kind of tournament, you need to predict everything that your opponent can do. Every single minute thing. And if you overthink it, bad luck. You need to. Or else you're going to lose to people who have creativity. And that's the whole thing about this tournament, is creativity. So there's that. I think defensively speaking, I'm going to say that Slowbro just nudges out Mega Venusaur for best defensive mon. Slowbro is just too good, man. Regenerator is probably the thing that takes the cake over Mega Venu. They both have the same recovery. It doesn't get Leech Seed, obviously, with Slowbro, but it does get a better phasing move, I think, in not only Scald, but also T-Wave. So I think Slowbro edges him out. Underrated pick. I'm gonna say Arcanine. I think people are gonna sleep on Arcanine thinking, yeah, it's okay, it's not bad, I guess it could be like, you know, a decent Pokemon. I think it's gonna be really good for him, because it can be run offensively and defensively, so definitely it's something to watch out for, I think, in the future. Worst pick, I'm gonna say Dragonair, just right off the bat. I'm not even gonna hold back. I even think Fracture or Zweilous would have been better. Zweilous definitely, because it can hit like a freaking truck, but that's none of my business. Moving on. We got Vincent. Shit. I forgot what his team name is. He's the other Australian, so, you know, I like him. Anyway, he chose a pretty terrifying team this season, if I do say so myself. He has... My dog was barking, and I feel like the moment I start getting into this Pokemon stuff again, she's going to start again, but we're just going to go with it. We got Excadrill, Sylveon, Mega Manectric, Cresselia, Slowking, Entei, Tyrantrum, Hitmonlee, Trevenant, Weezing, Kecleon, and Quagsire. So, the one thing that kind of threw me was Slowking plus Cresselia. I think it was kind of a panic pick by Vincent because, you know, he didn't know he was going to get Quag as his last pick. And he ended up doing it. And honestly, like, Slowking now could be turned into so many different mons if he wanted to redraft, but he chose not to, so that's fine. That's just, you know, how he felt. But I think that Driller is definitely my pick for offensive mon. He doesn't really have... I guess he can set up Sandstorm with a few of these Pokemon, but he doesn't even need the Sandstorm. Just Driller in itself, with a Scarf, can be incredibly dangerous as a mon. So I think that's something that definitely we need to watch out for. I'm going to say best defensive Pokemon is going to be Crest because... that thing is so fat. Like, ridiculously. I hate it. But I love it at the same time. I'd rather use Uniclus, but I hate it. I think his underrated pick is probably gonna be Kecleon. I think Kecleon has always been a very underrated mon in this format because Protean is a ridiculous ability. It can save your bacon, say you're against like a Conk and you go for Shadow Sneaks and then the Conk's Mark Punch doesn't affect you. It's pretty cool how you can do that. But I think it's definitely going to be a really cool mon for him. His worst pick? I'm going to say Slowking. I really am, because when I look at his team, I see a lot of great balance, and Slowking just seems so out of place. Yo! Yes, Dad? Oh, joy. Pray tell.
It's... yeah, find it for me.
Yeah.
It's Green Waste Collection tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to get all the stuff out the back into the green bin, don't you?
Well, the green bin is already full.
Oh.
When it's empty, I want you to bring it around the back and put everything you can on the back veranda into it.
Alright.
Big bits first and then everything else into it. It's going to start raining hard from tomorrow afternoon.
Oh, lovely.
I want everything you can off the ground on the back veranda so it doesn't get wet.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay?
Yeah, gotcha. We probably will. Our gutters are terrible. Anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh, that's right, Slowking. I just feel like he could have picked a better mon in there. If I'm honest, there are a lot of better choices for his team that could have gone in that slot. And so, you know, I don't know, Vince, like, it was just, I know that you're obviously running it because regenerate and all that jazz, but you had a Cress, and you got Quag, so it's like, you know, Anyway, moving on, we've got 3 to go, guys, and then we're done. Happy days. We got Charles of, I don't know if he's the Fleetwood Farfetchers, or if he's Farfetch FC anymore, I never know. Anyway, his first pick was Hooper Unbound, and that made me just go like, oh god. Then he decided to go with Tornadus Therian, and that made me think, oh Jesus. And then he brought, I just burped, I don't know why, I'm sorry, pardon me. God. He brought Politoed. And I was like, oh, here we go. It's time for the rain. 100% Hurricanes from Taunty, so you don't get issues from that shit again. He then got Florges, which was like, oh, great, another defensive mon. Fantastic. Pairs actually really well with Politoed, which is frustrating. Then you got Kingdra, and I was like, yep, rain. Heliolisk, yep, rain. Scrafty, just generally annoying. Omastar, yep, rain. Bronzong, oh, another rain setup, but also something that benefits from it. Because, you know, you don't need to run Heatproof. You automatically get Heatproof now with Levitate when the rain's up, so happy days. Credilli, because who doesn't like water types? Claydol, because I guess he needed a spinner. And Ditto, because... Charles. I'm going to say his best pick is Hooper Unbound, because... it's Hooper Unbound. What can I say? What can I actually say? It's Hooper Unbound. Well, what do you want from me? It's freaking ridiculous what it can do. So that's kind of scary. Best defensive pick, I'm probably going to be a bit biased. No, I'm not going to be biased. I think Bronzong, because Bronzong does deal with a lot of really good things here. For example, it is one of the best counters in Mega Metagross, so there's that. Also, specially defensive Bronzong can deal incredibly well with Mega Gardevoir, so there's definitely those options. But then you can also run it defensively to deal with Mega Heracross and Mega Lopunny, so there's a lot of options, like I said. Anyway, to his Dark Horse, I really want to say Omastar, guys. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I want to say Omastar. But I think his hidden gem, his little Dark Horse, give me that little Ditto. I mean, you think about it. If my Lopunny goes like Power Up Punches and whatnot, and then he goes into Ditto and copies that, I have nothing for my own Lopunny. He can copy like Mega Heracross. He can copy some crazy powerful Pokemon to shift everything into his favor. So there's a lot of scary possibilities that he can get with that mon. His worst pick? Oof, that's a tough one. I'm gonna be pretty honest about it, and don't know how it's gonna be taken, but honestly, out of looking at all those Pokemon, I have to say Claydol. Just because he doesn't have another Psychic type, I know. He doesn't have another Ground type, I know, so it's perfectly normal typing. But if you look at the team that Charles is trying to kind of orientate around, it's not like he cares. It's the electric types that are in this tier. Let's just break them down. My Electros does not care about Claydol. Zapdos doesn't really care about Claydol, because Zapdos can just kind of roost and all that jazz and deal with it. But then again, the reason why I think Claydol is his worst pick is just when you look at every other mon in his team, they all benefit from rain or from each other. Whereas Claydol, he's only really in there because he has no other way to deal with electric types. Unless he added in, say, you know, a Quagsire, or he added in what's it called, Wishcash, you know, that kind of ground water where it doesn't really matter if electric hits you, because then, if it's ground water, if they go for the grass knot, boom, Tornadus Therian or Florges. You know, he has the answers then. Whereas with Claydol, it just means that it's like, well, yeah, you have one way to stop electric types, but then they kind of screw you over anyway, and there's not really much you can do about it. And I don't see him really bringing it that much either, to be honest with you. Because as a rapid spinner, it's not like it beats Cofagrigus. Cofagrigus just blows it away. So there's that. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad pick. He could have even picked freaking Armaldo and had that as another Swift Swimmer. He could have really committed to the rain if he wanted to, but I just think that, I don't know, something about Claydol just, it doesn't sit right with his team. It's a good Pokemon in general, but on his team, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right. But we move on. We got Dan. I can't remember his team name either because I'm a terrible person at this. Anyway, he is new, Nova Dragonborn. You've seen him on my free-for-alls probably before, but anyway, he has a really cool team. I must say, the creativity is very alive here. He has Garchomp, Mega Diancie, Superior, and just off of that, I was like, okay, this guy's come to play. I see. And then got Darmanitan, Chesnaught, and Espeon, all really good underrated UU mons, and I was glad he kind of picked them and went away from the obvious picks. Then we got Espeon, Cinccino, and Durant. Oh, sorry, we got Cinccino, Durant, Spiritomb. Spiritomb's kind of common now when he gets picked up. Cinccino you don't see as much, and Durant I think should be picked more often, so I'm kind of glad that he did. Then you got Lantern, which has become like a perennial kind of NU pick for anybody now. Regirock and Golem, kind of throwaway in my opinion. I'm just going to go straight out and say I think Golem's going to be his worst pick. I think he's going to try and push for that Golem sweep one too many times, and he's just going to lose a lot of his battles because he's bringing in Golem over a Pokemon like Regirock, which can actually be good defensively, or he's bringing Golem in over like freaking like Superior, which can just blow away teams anyway. So I don't know. I'm not digging it. I'm just not digging it. Best pick. I am gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say Garchomp over Mega Diancie as his best pick. Offensively speaking, I think Mega Diancie is better. I think it's his best offensive pick. Oh, next to Superior, they're pretty close, but I think Garchomp is his best overall pick, and I think it's going to be probably his best Pokemon during the whole thing, because it can run so many different sets. Like, Rocky Helmet is always like a really annoying set to deal with, and it can also run offensive and be very, very terrifying. I already said his worst pick. I think he's Dark Horse. I'm not going to say Regirock, I'm not going to say Golem. I really think Chesnaught, because I've seen Chesnaught put in work in this format. You can Spiky Shield on those stupid flying moves that people go for. Like, it's no big deal. And I've got to do spaghetti cool, man. God. How unprofessional. But I think the big thing for me is that Chesnaught can be both can be offensive and defensive, and can run some really cool moves. So I definitely think I want to watch out for that. So now we're here, guys. The final team. The Maryland Manetrix, coached by Matt Zero Gravity. He has a really strong team. This is a team that I'm looking at and thinking, okay, this could be a little bit terrifying. He has Clefable, Heatran. So, like, straight away, what is one of the best counters to Clefable? Oh, Heatran. Oh, wait, Matt took that too? Oh, well, there goes my Clefable counter. Yep. And he got him on the wheel too, so he knew that was a good call to get, because it is, like, Clefable is definitely a fantastic counter. Sorry, Heatran is definitely a fantastic Clefable counter. And making sure that nobody else can get it means that he doesn't really need to run HP ground that much. It's pretty good. Thunderous Eye is always a really obnoxious and good pick because its speed stat is fantastic, as well as its ability to not only T-Wave the competition, but also to like knock off and have other moves. Is very versatile. Vaporeon, Mega Aerodactyl, and Cobalion is really, really strong UU picks. But at this point, I can see he has a bit of an annoying factor when it comes to electric types. Oh wait, he drafted Rhyperior, then Tangrowth. Never mind. I'll just shut myself up now. It's fine. Then he picked Medicham, which is a bit different, but I guess there weren't really many good RU picks left, so I can kind of understand why. He had first crack of NU, I think. No, yes. And he went with Liepard out of everything, and I was like, okay, cool. Liepard's kind of cool though. I want to see how he uses it. Kabutops and Scyther, both first gen mons, both really underrated picks, and I think they could both put in some serious work and kind of troll Charles's reigning with that best pick. If I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be pretty out there. I'm gonna say Clefable is his best pick overall. It's too versatile to give up, man. There's no way you can't like admire the versatility. Best offensive one's gonna be Mega Aerodactyl. Not a lot of teams are gonna have a lot for it, so it's gonna be pretty terrifying. Like, you look at my team. My best Mega Aero counter is looking like a freaking Dusclops. It's not looking great for good old Verdugo. Oh no, Verdugo gonna go to the old loser place. Yep. Anyway, I think his best defensive pick is probably Vaporeon. Jack always loves it, and there's a reason why. Fantastic at wish passing and whatnot. Worst pick. You know what, screw it, I'm going to be honest, Medicham. Because he already had a great fighting type in Cobalion, and he could have picked up a good psychic type. Just a general psychic type from that tier. Obviously he had last pick, but if you think about it, like, obviously somebody would have picked up Tangrowth, but I think there were a few good psychic types that he could have picked up still. They were in the tier. I think the Medicham won't get used as much because he has Cobalion, and that's going to be a little bit disappointing, because I would have liked to have seen him have another mod in it that would have put him work, but I think Cobalion is a better choice over Medicham most days, so that's how I feel. Now comes to the fun part, rankings. This is on my opinion, Jesus. where do I rank myself? That's going to be the hardest thing. I'm going to be honest, I think coming into this season, 8th I'm going to give to Dan, just because he's untried in this format. I don't know how he's going to go. I don't know his creativity yet. It's really hard to predict what he's going to do, so I'm going to put him at 8th. I think that's fair enough. Oh, sorry, 10th. At 9th, I'm going to have to put, probably, oh, they're going to hate me for this. I'm going to put John. He's been out for a season. He's been kind of in and out, but I think that when it comes to John and Charles in those 2 spots, I think Charles is just a little bit, his team's just a little bit better, but I could be wrong. I'm going to put Charles at 8. I'm going to put Matt. No, I'm not. I'm going to put, wow. I'm going to put Connor at 7. I think Connor is a really underrated team that could definitely put in some serious work, and I think people are really not going to expect it. I'll put Matt at 6. I think that Matt has a very strong offensive team, and he will be able to use it really well. I don't know how well it's going to take him. That's down to the battler, not the team. In 5th, I believe 5th? Yeah, 5th. I'm going to put Will. I think Will's really started progressing as a battler, and I think he's going to keep on getting better as it goes on. In 4th, I'm going to chuck Aiden at 4th. I think that, you know, his team is very well balanced. I think Mega Metagross and Mew will be good. I do find that maybe it's a bit mismatched down the bottom, but I think he'll put in work still. In 3rd, I'm going to chuck Vincent. Although this is his first one too, I don't really know style. I've known Vincent for a long time as a battler, and I know that he can make this team really good and make it work against a lot of opponents. So I'm definitely excited to see how he goes with that. At number 2, I have to put myself. I can't say that I'm better than Jack, because I can't live a lie. I'm not better than Jack yet. I'll get there one day, but I'm not better than him yet. I think that, though, by the last PPWC rankings, I was 3rd, and Adam has left this season, so that must bump me up to 2nd. It's only logical, I suppose. And then Jack sits atop at number 1. He's going to be the man to beat. I think, honestly, though, I'm going to be brutally honest about this. I think this is Jack's worst draft that he's done for a long time. It may have been because he got sniped, but I honestly just don't think it's as good as his other drafts. And he might take offense to that. I don't give a shit. It's Jack. Who gives a shit? I think he knows as well that he didn't draft as well as he's drafted in other seasons. And I think he thinks his team is still good because you've got to have that kind of confidence in your team. But I think deep down, we all know that he could have probably done a bit better. So it gives everybody a bit of a chance, I guess. But let me know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know what you think is the best Pokemon in each team, the worst Pokemon in each team, best offensive possibilities, best defensive possibilities. Let me know what your thoughts are. Obviously, I'm going to get a lot of comments from the guys that are competing, but I want to see some of you people that aren't actually competing dropping some comments for us, because I'd really like to see your opinions. We have been kind of in and out of this channel for a while, but now we're really kicking into it again because we got this season, and everybody's keen for it. Everybody's going to be rolling. We're going to be round one up as soon as we can. It basically goes up when everybody's done their battles. It's really hard to keep a schedule because we're all over the world, because we are the PokePals world. But we're going to try our hardest to keep it all good. And we've got other leagues coming up as well, like I'm in another one, which is the PFC. I'll probably upload the draft recap for that one tomorrow for you guys to look forward to. But this is something for your viewing pleasure from PokePals World today. I'm feeling pretty confident going into the season. We'll see what happens. My first round is against Connor, and his team is scary. So I'll probably upload a team building video soon. I'm not 100% sure when I'm going to do it, but I'll have to do it soon at some point because the battle's coming up, so be a good idea. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep on being PokePals. Let me know who you're supporting as well this season in the PPWC. It's Viduga29 signing out.